Welcome to Lightning Strikes. We're going to review week number 8, which was position round. We have a new number 1 leader in the clubhouse. We had a 3,000 series and an 800 this week.
Well, it was amazing to watch the position round game for the first and second place teams. Lightning Strikes, which worked 8 weeks to get to the lead, and all of a sudden something happened. And if it wasn't for Jared Eisenberg winning the first game by 24 pins, they would have been swept. That was their only win. They went 1 point and 23 losses. It's the most any team has won or any team has lost since the start of the league. I'm sure they left here shell-shocked. I'm sure they didn't expect that after taking the lead in the league. But you've got to give the credit to Brightview Financial. Scott Chakowski going 3-1, and then Bobby Hamilton, Tyler Plord, and John Pfister getting the sweeps, with Pfister shooting the third 800 in the league and bringing his average to 235, 3 pins behind Stouffer. And right now that team is telling the league we are the team to beat, and I firmly believe that.
Absolutely. Chris Rich bowled well against Pfister, but he really had no chance.
No, they were locked out right from the beginning. You know, they actually didn't bowl bad in game 1. They had 930, but they lost by 70, and after that they were just beat into the ground. They lost total by over 300 pins. And Brightview Financial really looks good as a team. The chemistry's great. They've bowled together before. They're all here from the Cape. And right now they've taken a 15.5 point lead, and they were in second place starting the night. Now they're 15.5 points ahead of second. What a move.
It's crazy.
Great move.
Absolutely. Also thought that Tyler had the front 9. He almost had a chance for 300.
Well, Tyler had the front 9, sent a messenger into the 10, then he missed it, probably got a little nervous. Then he struggled the last 2 games, but he won with 190 and 187. Key is he stayed close even though he was struggling. But John Pfister stole the show with 31 strikes, every ball in the pocket, 806, and right now, as far as I'm concerned, he's got the best shot for this house, and he's right now could be the one man in the league that could go around Dave Stouffer within a week or 2. He keeps bowling scores like this. One bad week for Stouffer, he's got high average in the league.
He's very impressive. You've been talking about John Pfister all season long.
Yeah, great
time.
game. He's got a soft hand. His ball really reads this type of pattern. He doesn't overthrow it. His ball speed matches up. He's playing right on the wet-dry line. He's got a soft hand, extremely accurate. Right now his shot making is the best in the league. It's precision.
Absolutely. He looks fantastic. Everybody wants to throw the ball like John now. Low backswing.
Low backswing,
nice and smooth.
low rev, soft hand. Reminds me of a right-handed Earl Anthony. It's the same touch.
And blow racks. Yep. All right. The second match was the teams 3 and 4. The Goats, they stayed in 3rd place, and Hockey Baby dropped a spot.
Hockey Baby won 15 points and dropped.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you how close it really is with those top 10 teams. Jay Rucker bowling great, getting the sweep with 717 against Chris Ubik, who just did not have a good night. Bob McIver had his first 700 of the year, and he got the sweep with 711. Jim Shirk taking 3 with 678, 786 handicap. That's also a very good team. They've been up there many of the weeks in the top 5. And the Goats, even though they stayed in 3rd, have really been struggling, but they're not losing enough points to take the big drop. They seem to be struggling with between 6 and 9 points when they struggle, 16 are up when they win. Jay Rucker keeping the team close with 717.
I mean, it's tough for McGuire to shoot 711, 819. That's a big number too.
Yeah, that's a big number.
Yeah. Also, yeah, some good matches. Clay got by Anthony 622 to 621 in total.
Yeah, he really bowled bad, but he got a break. You know, the funny part about it is they know he's the low average on the team, but there's no quitting him.
No.
He knows he wants to improve. He knows he's going to practice. He knows they're going to help him. And that's part of being a good teammate. When you have a lower average bowler who's struggling, you've got to keep him focused. You've got to talk to them a little bit. He's missing a lot of right side spares. He's thumbless. They're going to work on it. There's no doubt if he brushes up on 4 or 5 spares a night versus opens, he's shooting 510, 515, and now his handicap's a bonus.
It'll be very tough.
Plus, I wore his sweater last week, so
did.
maybe I'll bring him some luck.
And McIver got to scold his broom, and so did Jay.
2 sweeps, one night, 2 different teams. I like Jim Shirk's bowling on this shot, 678, 164 average, 678, 786 with handicap. That's a bundle. 164 handicap average. Boy, he looks a lot better than that. 164.
Who's that?
Jim Shirk. He looks a lot better than a 164.
One of those pin managers?
that? 164 average?
Could be wrong. Could be the first time today.
Yeah, well.
All right, the move of the week was Beach Bowl going from like 5th to 2nd, 18-6 over Dennis Beagle and Naples Fire Protection.
Well, Jerry Mikulánek really bowling great, averaging 228. Mark Sr., 223. Both of them sweeping Andy Cox and Dennis Beagle, two really good bowlers. So Mikulánek and Pulaski making a statement that those two can beat any of the 3rd and 4th bowlers in the league. I like that. Andy Cox is an excellent player. Dennis Beagle, obviously one of the highest averages in the league. Dropped below 230 for the first time all year, bowling just 600, now averaging 229. So he's in a little bit of a drop. He was right at 240 about a month ago. All of a sudden, he's got a couple of low sixes in there, so he's struggling a little bit on the left side now.
Yeah, Beagle shot 600 on the number. You're not going to win too many matches.
Yeah, not being the anchor there. And Pulaski Sr. again bowling very well.
Absolutely.
He's matching up. He's figured it out. Obviously, he's a great ball driller. He's got some real good equipment. The last month, he's had big sets. His average is climbing tremendously. He's probably brought his average up 15 pins in the last month. So, you know, he's a factor. He's averaged 230 the last month.
Every time I look at him, he's got a string of strikes going. So
he's still a heck of a bowler. He's feeling better. You know, he had a bad foot for a few years. It's good to see.
And Jerry's averaging 228, so he's...
Jerry's bowled great, 760, another 700, so he's a factor. He's letting everybody know he means business. And they're in 2nd place. That's a team that's going to be up there all year. There won't be any failure. Big James obviously loves action, 651, 247 last game to help the team. Very good bowler. James is very impressive. His speed control is great. His rev rate, his speed control, his choice of equipment on this pattern really matches up. He's got a great match right now.
Yeah, he seems to start striking when money comes out.
He's deceiving. He doesn't look that good. He's a lot better than what he looks. He's averaging right now 209, and I don't expect him to rise.
They always have a big game, James. Every week has one big game.
James.
All right, match 4. This is the Audi of Fort Myers team 18. They dropped to 14th, and Chucky Rucker's team number 2, Frank and Beams, jumped up to 6th, winning 20 points.
Well, Chucky with another sweep. Ray Stevens really having his worst night of the year, and Brad Zielinski, who really looks good. When you give Brad a shot, that's 400 off his hand. He's really a very good bowler, very nice man. And that's the 2nd time I believe they've taken 20. They're a little erratic. They've had a few bad weeks, but they're right want to be 6th place. They're within range. They're less than 20 out of 1st. Couple of good weeks, they could be knocking on the door.
Yeah, they're going great. Like I said, that's his 2nd 700 in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And Reggie Kahn struggled at 530. I don't think I'd see that.
And look at the averages on that team. Durkin 213, Zielinski 214, Kahn 214, Chucky 210. Very consistent, within 4 pins each man. Very good consistency there. And they're going to be a factor, no doubt in my mind.
Absolutely.
Mike Durkin in both 5 years, averaging 213, 3-1. Great leadoff man for that team.
Solid.
Keeps them close. Going to not put a lot of pressure on the bowlers behind him. I like that. You know, when you have a very weak bowler on top who's averaging 150, 160, then the 3 guys below him really got to carry him. This team's more balanced. Looks a lot better when your leadoff man's averaging 213.
Yeah, Mike keeps the ball in front of him. He makes the spares.
Yeah.
He's solid. So
Solid.
You know he's been
Solid player.
Yeah.
Carolyn Trump's son, great bowler in that family. His mom, great woman bowler in her day. Can still throw it pretty good in her 70s, really.
She bowls tonight.
Yep, she bowls tonight.
Trio.
The great Carolyn Trump.
All right, match number 5 is team number 16, Rob Thor's Beard, against Robert Eddie Care's team number 4. And Robert Eddie's team moved up to 7th, and Rob Thor's Smelly Beard moved to 13th.
Well, Robert Eddie again with a sweep, coming alive, 635, 746 the handicap. He's the owner of Lightning Strikes. It's great to see him bowling well. And of course, Joaquin bowling fantastic, 227. Scott Cobb, 225. John Rakoski, 223. Robert's definitely got support behind him. He's got 3 225 shooters behind him that can explode at any time. Those bottom 3 men at any time can shoot 2,200. You know, 730 apiece, easier than bingo for those last 3. So they're definitely going to be a team to contend with. Rakoski struggling at 223, but he's only going to get better. He's going to figure it out, no doubt about it.
Yeah. So the frown on his face. Our friend Dennis Reeder got swept by the loss.
That's because they're good friends, and Dennis felt bad for Robert. Dennis, you're a very nice man, letting the boss sweep you. That means you might get dinner this week at the snack bar.
Absolutely.
Chicken Caesar on Robert Eddy. What do you think?
That's it. Tell the manager. He'll take care
Chicken
of it
Caesar
for you.
on Robert Eddy for Dennis Rieger.
All right, match number 6 was team number 7, Big Bowlers Tour against Tick Transportation.
And Wayne Toplin not having the best week, 539. Brendan Carlton right behind him with 673 scratch, 763 with handicap. Brandon carrying the team, he didn't have much support. The rest of the bowlers struggled. Robert Hilton, even though he went 3-1, really a low pin total for Robert. He's got to carry the team. They were close, but not enough. 26.96, not even close to the 29.10. But if you'll notice, scratch fairly close, 24.59, 24.21. They won scratch, but they spotted too many pins.
They did. Preston Willis had a 290 game to bail out.
Preston Willis looking good, averaging 211, coming on very strong the last few weeks.
Back-to-back 700s.
Back-to-back 700s. 290 the last game. What a nice way to finish. That's a nice ride home when you're 437 going in and 727 when you get to the parking lot.
Absolutely.
It's a wonderful thing.
He drives to Sarasota.
Yeah.
So
Really nice for Preston.
Same team that shot 3,100 last week, or 3090 or 3080, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're firing right now. They moved up to 8th, and
They are on fire.
Big B Bowling Tour sliding down. They're down to 12th. All right, match number 7 is going to be Dream Team Big Jam Alert. This is a split against Bordado's team. Team number 10 Build 1. They went 12-12, and they both moved up 1 spot.
12-12, and one team's in 10th, one team's in 11th. It looks like both teams just stalled here. Ricky 663, Lee Ratchin 594, Mike Alshar 636, Dave Stouffer 677 is not going to make it in a heavy handicap league. 90% at 235. They shot 2570. They're only getting 135 pins. 2705. They were very lucky to win team total with 2705. That was a break.
Yeah.
And they are bowling a pretty good team, but Davion struggled. I figured Davion bowls a little better. They win total there, but just a little short for Davion. And Lewis Martin really having a bad night, coming off of 720.
Yep.
So that team really should have won total with Davion and Lewis really bowling bad for their skill level.
Then you have, Lee struggled too. He shot a 594, and Alshire struggled again with 676.
Alshire's last 2 weeks, about 1220 total. He's got to be really questioning what's going on. Averaging 218, Stouffer 238, still leading the league. Lee Ratchin 217, Ricky Ward 216, but with as little handicap as they're getting, at least 2 of those bowlers every week have got to get close to 700 to give them a shot to get them around 28. It just didn't happen.
That's right. But they're in 10th place, and Build 1's at 11th, so they're right near the playoffs.
Well, let's see.
Top 8.
Big Jam is 40 points out of first with 27 weeks to go. That team, as explosive as they are, could catch first place in a month. 420 and 4s, and they got them.
Yeah,
But they're not going to get it with 2 of their bowlers shooting low 600s. It's just not going to
They're
happen.
not firing like Ricky was saying earlier today when he was in here. Is that
They
just not
need to
lining
step it up.
together.
They've lost that consistency that they had earlier in the year, and right now as a team they're struggling.
Yeah, they are, absolutely. Stouffer had a big string. He had a front 8 or front 9, or front 8 on every week. He has a front 8.
Stouffer's had the front 8 every week.
That's about.
Yeah.
Feels like it. So he's due for 300.
Until the action starts, and then all of a sudden he gets a little fragile. It's amazing. He's been up and down. Literally, he's had 3 great weeks: a 727, a 749, a 760, somewhere in that area. He's had 6 weeks that were good, but they're not enough to carry the other 3 bowlers if they're not bowling well. So that's why they're in 10th. That's why they're 40 points out of first. They're not clicking.
They're not. Absolutely
No,
not.
they're not.
All right, the eighth match was the team number 17 OMWB. They stayed in 15th place against the Diamond Security team of the powerhouse lefties. 15-9, they dropped to 17th.
Well, Rizzo coming back with 749 and Schumacher 684, yet they couldn't win total with over 1,400 scratch between those two. And the reason is Brian Copeland 618 with 100 pins handicap, and Dick Hogan 520 with 210 pins handicap.
Yep.
And that 520 is a monster with a 158 average, and he got to sweep and he carried the team.
Yep.
There's a case where a man is averaging 158, That 520 was actually enough to carry the team. He had 246 the first game.
He did.
Bowled bad the last two, but still got to sleep with a 127 and a 147 against Dustin Clark, who'd been bowling well all year. And all of a sudden, he swept Dustin Clark, who had a lot of 660s and 670s this year.
That's surprising.
Amazing. Just goes to show you how it could be one side, and all of a sudden the next week it isn't. It's amazing this league to watch it. The 90% of 235 is fascinating to watch as the weeks go on. For me, it is.
Absolutely.
I hope it is for the viewers, because the more you understand it and pull up the scoring and look at the weekly scores, you say some of these bowlers that have done nothing are now beating big guns who have beat other people all year. All of a sudden, they're beating big guns. An amazing strategy. I really wonder how you strategy this type of league now that everybody's handicap is their first 21 games in this league. It's going to be fascinating to watch, because right now the dream team in 10th, 40 points out of first, with 9 multi-handicap teams in front of them.
Yep.
Amazing.
But that team's, to be honest, that the dream team, their average is real low. They're not. So David's the only one at average.
Yeah, the rest of them.
Below average.
I figured Ricky Ward and Lee Ratchet and Mike Alshire all 230.
Absolutely.
Not even close now. They got problems.
They'll get there.
Oh yeah, they might. But I'll tell you what, if they don't, they're going to get beat. They don't have enough handicap with some of these handicap teams that are a lot looser now, knowing they can be beat. Keep in mind, the psychology is this team is vulnerable. All of a sudden they're saying, oh, they can get beat. They're in 10th. They're getting beat by a team from Cape Coral where there was no stars, and no one figured Pfister to be better than everybody in the league but Stolfer. So all of a sudden the psychology is the team is vulnerable.
You get righties 1, 2, and like 3, 4, 5 are lefties.
Yeah. And Rizzo, a little erratic, and all of a sudden there he is again with 750. He's a strike machine. When he gets going. Wow.
Yeah, he did shoot 600 last week, and then shoot lights out.
Yeah.
All right, match number 9 is going to be 14-10. Team 6 Lou moved up to 16th, and Port Charlotte team stayed in 18th.
Billy Seymour bowling, his par really looking great at 680. Daniel Gacera still struggling, averaging 208. I really thought he'd be 230. He's got some work to do. His mom and dad were watching him last week. Maybe he'll come in with some new equipment. I think they got to regroup with that team and maybe even move him to 3rd or 2nd and put Billy Seymour in the anchor position, which they might have to do in case of points, because right now Gacera's bowling the best bowlers in the league, and 208 average isn't going to beat the best bowlers in the league right now. They might have to have a lineup change. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so. Billy Seymour's so solid every week.
Yeah. I think Billy Seymour has a better chance right now until Daniel gets loose and then flop him again.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with that team.
Yeah.
Billy Seymour is leading the way.
Even though Gacera got the sweep, he shot 632, which is so below his average.
Way below. But it was nice seeing his mom and dad here. That was really nice.
Well, that's always nice to have your mom and dad watch you. When my son Michael was bowling in New England and his mother was still alive, her and I would go to watch him bowl, and it's a thrill to watch your son strike, especially win. And he's a winner, and it's great to see his parents behind him.
Absolutely. All right, match number 10 is going to be team number 11, who stayed 19th, and our friends Killer Tomatoes split 12-12. They stayed in 20th.
Larry Littman bowling pretty good the last couple of weeks.
The last game.
It's really nice to see. He went 2-2. Bobby Martin bowling well, going 3-1, and of course Mike Smith having a pretty good week, 600, but taking 3 out of 4 from Fred Engels. Looks like Fred, was that a blind there, 3-1-94? Yeah, it looks like Mike got lucky there bowling a blind. Craig Streetsel having his first good week, averaging 188. I expect a lot more from Craig. Joe Smith is looking real well, 667. Good team there, 12th place or 19th place. I think that team is going to get better as the season goes on.
Joe Smith against Bob Apolloni, 745 to 744.
Wow, Bob Apolloni really bowling well and didn't get total. I didn't see that.
It was always
744 not getting total. That's a tough one there by one pin.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
Absolutely.
If you'll notice, 3 700s for their team, taking 12 points. 710 Bobby Martin, Bob Apolloni 744, Larry Littman 748, but only winning 12 points. Again, that handicap's amazing.
Yeah, Larry Littman shot 310 last week, game 3, and this week he shoots 290, game 3.
Yeah.
So.
I'd like to have him in game 3. What do you think? Bet the lefty in game 3?
Just figure, that's it.
Bet the lefty in game 3. Keep away from him in game 2.
Got him to win. All right, match number 11 is going to be the number 9 Caps. He only got 6 points. They dropped to 22nd. And Chris's team, Eddie Food's team, number 24, 118, moved up to 21st place.
Well, they really bowled well. Chris P. with his third 700 in 5 weeks, and now he's making a statement. And his average is only 212, but he's had 3 monster 700s in 5 weeks. If you forgot his first 4, he's probably averaging 225, 226, so he's coming on. Greg Lindsay bowling again very well, his second real good week in a row, 688. And Joe Ponzio, a good week, 680, taking the sweep. They had a very nice stretch total at 27.55, which got them 18 points. That team's slowly now coming alive. I kind of felt all along when they were in 24th, that couldn't be possible.
Yeah.
But if you'll notice, Lindsay coming alive, Jerry Lake bowling well. That's a pretty good team total scratch right there. 27.55 is a heck of a number. 355 over for 12 games.
And our second team to shoot 3,007.
Yeah, great number there. And Bobby Taylor again, bowling well, 752 at handicap, a 3-1. Mike Varda, 595, 1-3. Danny Hyam still struggling, 584, but they're getting swept by Chris P. Chris P right now is one heck of a leadoff man. If you're bowling against him 3 of the last 5 weeks, you've got a problem. He's got to be averaging 243 of those 5 weeks. 784, 741, 725. Got to be averaging 245 every other week.
Yep, you were bringing striking shoes, and he never used he always used my ball.
He's using your ball. How come he bowls better with your equipment than you do?
I have no idea.
What's the story with that? So you buy him, you give him to him, and he averages 240.
Exactly. I buy him, I throw him.
Where were you all my life? You could have bought my equipment, I'd have never stopped.
Yeah.
I'd be averaging 240 with your stuff.
Well, that's good. Nobody watches this.
Of course, you're right-handed. How am I going to get this left paw in there?
You'll make it work.
Yeah.
You're a
So I'm Brooklyn's.
You're a tour player. All right, our last match of the night, Stupid Corner. They got snake bit again. They shot 2,800 and only got 9 points.
Well, Mike Boyd really bowled great with 708, 765 for the sweep against Herb Klein. Corey Brown with a 3-1. John Toten with a 3-1. John Rosser with a 3-1. Taking 15 points, 28-42 to 28-04. Close match. But they're in the cellar, even though they won 15 points. It didn't take them out of last. The team they're bowling against still stayed in 23rd. But so they've got a long way to go, those two teams.
All right, this is a wild one here because what happened was in this league, John Totten was a blind and Denny Olson was a blind. So it was blind versus blind.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so in this league, how it works is that the team total wins the blind point.
The team total wins the blind. I did not know that rule.
That was a cool rule they voted. One of the rules that they did a good job in the meeting with was that one.
Team total wins the blind. I like that in case there's two bowlers against each other blind. You don't get a lock. If one guy's 190, one guy's 80, he cannot show up and win 4 points. That's impossible. Very good rule by the league. I like that.
Yeah.
No one should win 4 points without bowling.
No.
I don't think so.
So that was a good rule the league voted on. One of the few, I might say, but
I'd like to say that Brightview Financial right now, and I've said all along they were going to be real good. Well, what we saw last week was fantastic. 23-1, which is only going to give them confidence, and now let the rest of the league know these 4 men plan on winning this league. You can see it in their faces. There's unbelievable confidence when you look at them.
Well, if you got John Pfister on it, you're pretty
Yeah,
confident.
John Pfister's wonderful. Smiles every ball, very relaxed, gives us relaxed attitude, and really, it was a great 806. Could have been 840. I mean, he was just right there, clean every game. Lost 3 pins in count, 59, 68, 79, 4 pins in count. Fantastic bowling.
If you didn't see, go back and watch it. It's on our Facebook page.
And he bowls it in front of his wife and daughter.
Yep.
There's nothing better than bowling an honor score in front of your wife and daughter. It's a very proud moment for all of them. Plus, we were live streaming, and we had about 4,000 views, and we had 4,000 to 5,000 views last week. A lot of people watched him do that, so congratulations to John. Great bowling for your team.
Yeah, if you watch the 300 video we produced, you can hear on the second shot in the 10th where he got 300, his wife was screaming.
Yeah.
That was her.
Yeah.
It wasn't you.
Well, usually I
thought
scream
it was
when I
you,
say
but it was
300.
her.
I've always been a screamer for 300, but great to see. Again, 25-6 didn't let us down, 27-8, great scores. 25-6, we've had an 800, 2 300s, Billy Morgan, John Pfister. We've had a 796. So we've had 400 scores.
Jock,
Yeah, 400, that's 2 8s, And 2 threes on that pair?
Yeah, Billy
On
Morgan.
25 and 6, yeah, 2 8.
Well, shot 300 on that pair.
Billy Morgan, Billy Morgan, 2 8s with Joaquin and Pfister. Is it 300 scores?
Fisher shoot 300 though.
No, we had 800.
800, yeah.
Okay, got it.
800s, yeah, but that's
Yeah.
all. It doesn't matter. Those two pairs
Yeah,
on
those
fire.
great scores. 27 and 8, very good scores too,
Absolutely.
which we'll be back to this coming week, but we'll be watching 25 and 6. Right now, those 2 pairs are very high scoring, really compared to any 2 pairs in the house. If we were to move the camera somewhere, I don't think we'd see what we're
You
seeing.
think it has different bones on it?
Yeah, for some reason, and I don't know why, because obviously we all them all the same, the machine's programmed and it just goes. But those 2 pairs right in the middle of the house seem to be very good pairs.
High scoring pairs.
Yeah.
I mean, the scores play drastically different.
Yes,
pair here.
yes, drastically different.
The only way you can get it right is if you can really map out the lanes and then
Yeah,
put a program for each
I
pair.
sort of like it because in an older house, older synthetics, older building that has settled and moved for 32 years, only about 4 or 5 feet above sea level here, so we're on sand basically. Obviously, this building is moved, the topography's moved, so even though the lanes are all the same, they're not the same. The characteristics are different on every pair, and obviously some of the higher rev rate players that do things to the heads. So we see some pairs being tougher than others, but we like that. It keeps the scores moderate to high, not wide open where every team is shooting 2,800 scratch, which we didn't want. We wanted high scores. We didn't want a strike-a-thon. We feel our scores are good, and we're happy.
Yeah, we got a lot of our scores in this house. We had
Oh, yeah.
Don Howard shot 300 on.
Oh yeah, we've had honor scores, and we'll continue to have. As the bowlers get used to the pattern, obviously they're going to drill for the pattern. They came in with their summer equipment and last year's equipment, and now all the new stuff's coming out, and they're drilling for this shot, which happens in every bowling center. So our technology with Ricky Ward running the store, along with Chuck Rucker and Gary Seward, is going to give them a lot of equipment based on what they're reading. Mark Pulaski's bowling in the league. He's going to give some people equipment based on what he's reading. So we expect some very good scores the rest of the year.
Oh, absolutely. Every week's getting better
Oh,
and better
yeah.
and better.
Oh yeah.
So this week we're gonna move the TV pair back to 27, 28.
27 and 8.
The monitor's a little goofy
Yeah.
on 25, 6.
Yeah,
So
the
that-
monitors look kind of funny.
Yeah, no.
Actually, I used to see the monitors like that every once in a while when I stayed late, but I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, me too. A lot of ball there.
Yeah.
Also on the match on that pair is gonna be a great match. It's gonna be Hockey Baby against Beach Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Beach Bowl coming on, so we'll get a chance to see Pulaski and Big James. That's a good team. And Big James has bowled on that pair a lot in action, so he's going to be right at home on camera. Great action player. Going to be a lot of fun to watch him. And then later on in the evening, obviously, around 10 o'clock, we'll start our action until midnight. Had some great matches last week. John Van Baron, Dave Stoffer, got a lot of people watching. Had a lot of viewers last week live for the action. More in the league, more people watched the action in the league last week, which is kind of interesting. Keep in mind, we're working on our roving camera coming soon. And when we introduce it, it's going to be fascinating for all of you, so we hope you're watching.
All right, anything else?
Guess that's it. What do you think?
All right, I'm excited.
Ready to
for-
roll?
Yeah, I'm excited for Wednesday because we have a team, second place team versus fifth place team.
Yeah, that'll be great. It's almost like a position round for both teams. Keep in mind, both teams know they can take a beating, after the 1 and 23 between teams 1 and 2. What you don't want to do is have a beating right now early between teams 2 and 5. That could happen. One team could
Yeah,
sweep the other.
within 2 points of each other.
Oh yeah, two very good teams.
So yeah, well, if you want to see what the standings are, we're going to post it on our Facebook page right now.
Okay.
And we will see you guys on Wednesday.
See you Wednesday evening for live here at Lightning Strikes. We'll be on the air at 6:40. Please join us.
Good night.